Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about music festivals and why I'm not the biggest fan of them. Now, Australia has many great music festivals over time. Blues Fest, Splendor in the Grass, even stuff like Big Day Out that's now defunct. Over time, music festivals have been great in Australia, but we've seen this trend in the past couple of years where music festivals just aren't going ahead in the way they used to. Now, music festivals still do exist. There is one on today that, the same day I'm filming this video, which is Saturday the 7th of December, there is a music festival in town called Good Things. And I flirted with the idea of going to Good Things, but I ultimately decided against it. Now, obviously you can tell the fans on above me, and it's because today it's a 34-degree day. Even though it's raining, even though all that stuff, it is still 34 degrees. And Australia is a very hot place to live and to go to concerts, especially in summer, in between December and February. It becomes very hot to go to concerts, especially ones in a place like Centennial Park, which is where the Good Things Festival is being held in Sydney. So, one of the bands playing there is Korn. I've listened to Korn since the 90s, since probably 98, 99, and that's through my sister. My sister was listening to it. By proxy, I listened to it and became a fan. My second concert ever was Korn in 2004, and this is how old I am, it was still called the Sydney Superdome, and it was on St. Valentine's Day, 2004. So, and it was the original lineup too. I think David Silveria, I think that's the original drummer's name. He was still in the band, and obviously Phil Lee was still in the band because he hadn't been on hiatus. He only went on hiatus in 2021. So it was the original lineup of the band, or at least what became famous of the band, the five that became notorious for Korn. I'm sure there people say, oh, but there was someone in the band, or someone, people can say, oh, there was different iterations or whatever. I'm sure people will point out that, oh, maybe John Davis did something earlier on in Korn and there was another member. I don't know. But just to say what I'm saying, the original lineup that became famous, Got the Life and all that, Freak on a Leash, that's the Korn that I grew up with. Now, Good Things had a good lineup this year. Like, it had a double header in a lot of ways, or triple header, I'll call it, because Korn was the big headliners. And they also had Sum 41 before Sum 41 pulled out. Now, from what I understand, Derek came down with pneumonia, which is understandable. Get well soon, Derek. I hope that before Sum 41 wraps up, you do a lap of Australia. I'm really hopeful of that. But if not, I think a lot of Australian fans will be devastated if Sum 41 break up without seeing them one more time. So Sum 41 pull out. They're the co-headliners along with Korn. They've pulled out, and now the solo headliners are Korn. But they've done this weird thing where they didn't replace the headliner. I mean, you can't really replace Sum 41 with like 2-3 days. I understand that. But it seems odd to me that, and this is why I'm not the biggest fan of festivals. They had a great secondary headliner there in Billy Corgan. Now, given it's not with Smashing Pumpkins, he is playing with a band called the Delta Rigs, which I saw the Delta Rigs at the Kiss concert last year, 2023. This is my Kiss concert t-shirt, I did see the Delta Rigs, so I understand they're a decent band, and obviously, while it's not Billy Corgan with Smashing Pumpkins, it's still Billy Corgan. You can still hear 1979, and Tonight, and, all the classic Pumpkin songs. I'm sure he'll be singing them. But for some very strange reason, and Mastodon's there too, there's a couple of other people, Violent Femmes, I think people have saying they're pretty cool, but in terms of massive names in terms of music, I think Billy Corgan's the only one who could have maybe fit into Sum 41's slot. But, Electric Callboy got put into Sum 41's spot. Now, obviously, I know people like their music, I know it's pretty big. Not my type of music, but I understand they have some appeal. So that's who got Sum 41's time slot. But it seems odd to me that you would have to choose. Now, this is what I don't like about festivals. The time slot of Billy Corgan is, I believe, 8 o'clock to about 9 or something. It's pretty around that time period where Korn go on at 8:30. So you have to, I think it's like 10 past actually. I think Billy Corgan's on at 10 past, Korn's on at 8:30. So there's a possibility that you need to choose whether you want to see Billy Corgan or Korn. I'm not a fan of that. I believe if I'm going to a... Well, this is the thing. If I'm going to something and I want to see both, I should be able to see both. Now, dual stages would be a cool thing where they're right next to each other. You just turn around, boom, you can see that band, turn back around, see that band. That's a cool concept. But where festivals really start to show, like, not valuable to me personally, is when you got 5 different stages and they're on opposite sides of the park, you know? Stage 3 and 4 is apparently way off, and then stage 5 and whatever are even further off. But stage 1 and 2 were the ones that would have Korn and Sum 41. And Billy Corgan was on stage 3. He's the headliner for stage 3. Now, I was saying, I know some people will pick Billy Corgan over Korn. I understand Billy Corgan has a big fan base. But you're putting him against Korn. I'm just saying, the headliners. You're putting him against the headliners who at the top of the ticket says they're the headliners. I was like, do these guys, like, not like Billy Corgan or something? Like, I want to see Billy Corgan. Like, if I was going to go and... Like, I was going to go to the Enmore Theatre when he had the solo thing before he cancelled. I was going to go and watch that on Wednesday, but he cancelled. And I didn't buy a ticket yet because I understand Australian artists have a notorious hit... Well, not Australian, but world artists have a notorious history of cancelling in Australia. And at the last minute, they will say, okay, I don't want to come. We saw that with Busta Rhymes recently, where Busta Rhymes got more money from Saudi Arabia and just said, yeah, mate, let's just cancel those Australian tours. I'm going over to Saudi to get more money. Which, cheers to him. Great, good for you, Busta, but that wasn't a good look for Busta Rhymes. And we all would have done it. I mean, more money, I understand. Busta would have seen Saudi Arabia, bigger festival. I think it was Promised Land, so he did that. He was up in Brisbane, he did Promised Land. So he was in the country, but he cancelled all the solo tours. And maybe it didn't sell enough tickets for the solos. But there's a notorious history of cancelling events in Australia, concerts-wise. So I am just at the point where I kind of don't want to go to an all-day festival just to see one band. I mean, I would have went for the double header for Sum 41, Korn, and also triple header. If Billy Corgan was on the same stage, I would have seen all 3. I would have been like, yep, I'll see those 3. Especially if it was with Smashing Pumpkins, that would have been even better. But yeah, when it comes down to, one headliner and the other one you would probably want to see is on a different stage at the same time, I was just like, well, you've pulled out Sum 41, and I understand Sum 41 pulling out. Obviously, Derek needs to get healthy. I understand that is very important. Health comes first. But why would they not put why would they put Billy Corgan opposite Korn in terms of on a different stage in a different part of the park at the same time? This is what I don't get about music festivals, guys. And I like concerts. Like, here's the thing. I didn't do a concert for about 8 years. Obviously, because I focused in on career for a while. I caught up in my era, like in the last year. I caught up in the last year in terms of going to concerts. I was like, you know what? I didn't do concerts for a while, so the concerts I did an exhibit concert in 2010 in Sydney. It was Factory Theatre. Then I didn't go to another concert for about 8 years. I did Biscuit. It was the band that got me to break was Going to Limp Bizkit at Hordern Pavilion in 2018. And then another couple of years passed and I didn't go to any more concerts. I did do a New Year's broadcast, I believe, somewhere in there, so I got to see a few acts on, like Daryl Braithwaite, Ross Wilson, Christine Anu, Casey Donovan. So I did see that kind of as part of things, and yeah, if you know, you know. But then also, I kind of like... I got to 2023 and I was like, you know what? I have focused in on career for a lot of years now, and I've kind of neglected going to concerts. This is the thing I've been saying. Like, I got back into things like Linkin Park. I got back into music again. Like, I had listened to music, but I never really went to concerts. So I was like, you know what? Kiss are touring. I'm going to go see Kiss. Oh, you know what? Nas and Wu-Tang Clan are touring, and my friend got me to go to that, even though... Because I would have just been like, you know, I haven't been to a concert in years. I don't know. But then when I went, I was like, yeah, this is actually pretty cool. I should see more artists live. And it was Wu-Tang and Nas, so, you know, that was really cool. But, who else did I see? I'll see. Jess Mauboy. I've seen Jess Mauboy a heap of times, but Jess Mauboy, I'll always take the opportunity to see Jess Mauboy live. Yeah, Kiss, obviously. 50 Cent. I was right at in front of the stage for 50 Cent. Who else did I see? That was in December last year. And these are all in Sydney, by the way. These are all the artists that come to Sydney. And then, I see artists here and there, like I think I seen Lauren Hill. Who else did I see? Oh, Regurgitator and Weezer were the support acts for Kiss. Now this is another thing. A music festival doesn't have to be the only place to see, like, have a great lineup. You can do a triple header. Like, I would say Regurgitator, and this is the thing. It was four artists. So Delta Riggs opened. This is when Delta Riggs was still coming up, and they are now supporting Billy Corgan, obviously. But I saw Delta Riggs as the opening act for what I consider the triple header, because it had Regurgitator, which I know a lot of the world might not be aware of Regurgitator, but Unit was a great album, and that's an album from my childhood, and I grew up listening to. Now, obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of Regurgitator. I don't know all the little niche details of the band, but definitely, I give them credit here and there. They have that sound, and they've been around in the Australian music scene for a while now. Like, I understand the appeal. And I also love their music. Like, Regurgitator is a really good band. Weezer was a great, the one right before Kiss was Weezer. And I was like, yeah, great, perfect. Weezer, so there's a good thing. And they also played it at the bigger stadium. They played it at the Olympic Stadium. So it's called Stadium Australia, but because it's got sponsorships at the moment, there's naming rights. It's now called Accor Stadium currently. But you can have an 80,000 seat stadium, and if you can sell as many tickets, sell as many as you can, but that's still a good showing, like, especially for Kiss. It was the only show in Australia last year. It was the only one on their tour, like the End of the Road. What is it, End of the Road? Yeah, End of the Road tour. I have to look at the show, because they've done that many End of the final show tours. They've done that many of them, but this is the first one I've seen, and maybe the last one, because it sounds like they're not touring again. Wink, wink. But, I think there's potential to do concerts where they have multi-headers and everyone gets a cut of it. Obviously, in that circumstance, Kiss would have got the biggest cut, maybe 70%. But, if you're selling 80,000 tickets, or maybe even, I don't know how many they sold, maybe 50,000. If they sold a lot of tickets, they can still have a good showing, We saw Taylor sell out 80,000 in that stadium. We saw people like Coldplay, I went and saw Coldplay recently. If you've been following the Instagram, you'll know. But I went and seen Coldplay. That was, I think, 60,000. Chris Martin was saying 60,000. And that was a last minute thing. Like, I was just on Ticket Text, surprisingly at the last minute. I was like, yeah, I might go to Coldplay. Like, I'm not the biggest Coldplay fan, but I was like, you know what? If I get a ticket, it'll be cool just to say I saw Coldplay. And I looked at the right time on Ticket Tech on the day of, and got the first show Sydney. I ended up getting that ticket. I was like, oh, yes, I'm going to see Coldplay. Okay, cool. But that's the thing, I'm very spontaneous with my concerts. I'm just like, I just want to go at the last minute. I will go and do it at the last minute. But I don't like this whole trend of music festivals of like, oh, we'll book the best artists against each other and you can choose which one you want to see. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, I look, love Billy Corgan. Love what he's doing for wrestling as well. He owns the NWA. It's great that the NWA is now not a formidable thing, but like, it's back in the conversation again. Like, look, NWA, in terms of the wrestling organization, the National Wrestling Alliance, that was the one that Australia was very aware of back in the 60s and so on, because that's the one Andre and all that was with Andre the Giant and so on. But, Mario Milano, I think, as well, was in there, that was the NWA. So Billy Corgan owning that, and, the Flair, the Harley World title, not the big gold, but, well, the big gold was the original what's Big Gold? Big Gold was the one Ric Flair had. He commissioned that one. That was commissioned specifically for Flair, but, Dusty held that and all that, so on. Kind of losing my track here, guys. But, yeah. I'm talking about, like, love Billy Corgan. Great guy. I shouldn't have to choose between Billy Corgan and Korn. It should be all on one stage in that case. Put it all on one stage. Boom, I can see Billy Corgan, then straight after, Korn. And in there, Electric Callboy and so on, Some 41 if Derek was good to go. But also, we have to take into account that Australian heat is different. Summer is very hot in Australia. And we have all these state-of-the-art stadiums that they're building everywhere. They've upgraded the one at Moore Park, the Sydney Football Stadium. I saw Paul McCartney there. Pretty cool. They have the one that Parramatta built. I don't know what that's called, but there's one at Parramatta that they built. That I think it's upgraded. I think they upgraded it. They've also got the Stadium Australia out at Homebush, which is basically the big one that the Olympics was held in 2000. They've got that. They've also got Hordern Pavilion, which holds about 5,000. That's where I saw Biscuit twice. And then, they have all these other stadiums. Obviously, Kudos Bank Arena, the old Sydney Superdome. That is a pretty legendary venue, like in terms of artists, when they come to Australia, will usually perform their first act or their first concert at Kudos Bank, or what they call the Sydney Superdome. Well, yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Like, that has a history. And the Sydney Entertainment Centre doesn't exist anymore. They've knocked that thing down and built apartments there, which was kind of a silly thing. But I'm not going to go into that, because I will go very opinionated on that one. But do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we have all these state-of-the-art venues, and it doesn't even have to be a big venue. It can be something like, you know what? Enmore Theatre. Venga Boys, I know, are touring in the new year, and they're doing Enmore Theatre. It's like, yeah, that's fitting. Like, I saw Aqua there. I saw Jessica Mauboy there. Enmore Theatre's a great little venue. It's great. Maybe holds a couple of thousand people. I don't know the capacity, maybe 2,500? But that's alright for an artist like Venga Boys, like a band like Venga Boys. They'll get a good cut from that. That's a pretty good venue. It doesn't have to just be the big glamorous festivals and all this and that. It can be a nice little niche sort of venue that isn't so much, what's the word for it, like, isn't spectacle. The music will bring people. If people are fans, like, this is the thing I was saying to friends. The same day that Venga Boys is in Sydney next year, because I'm thinking of going to see Venga Boys. I'm like, that's music from my childhood. I saw Aqua, and now I kind of have to see Venga Boys, just because, Venga Bus and all that stuff. People from the 90s will get it. But then, the same day, basically all my high school music is in Sydney as well, because they're doing Juicy Fest at the Olympic Stadium, which has Ludacris, Akon, is Bone Thugs? No, not Bone Thugs. Yeah, Bone Thugs. Like, a couple of people from Bone Thugs. Who else is there? Fat Joe. Like, there's all these artists coming for Juicy Fest. And I'm like, oh, okay. Do I want to see Juicy Fest? Or do I want to see Venga Boys? Venga Boys is a lot closer for me to get to, but it's also different eras. One's from my childhood, one's from my teenage years. And so I'm like, oh, which one do I want to see? And likewise, also for concerts, I was going to go see TLC in March, and that's where Busta Rhymes was also coming. So Busta Rhymes was cancelled on me twice this year in Australia. Busta, you need to get your stuff together, mate. But that was TLC that cancelled. In all fairness, that was TLC. And I don't know why TLC cancelled. They have this notorious history of cancelling in Australia. But, I don't know, maybe I'm guessing something went wrong. Like, obviously, I don't know all the details. They're not revealing. I understand. But it's still kind of depressing when you see all these artists cancel and then they finally come back to Australia. Like Slipknot. I've been trying to see Slipknot for years. And then they come back to Australia and announce we're coming back to Australia in March. And we're playing Knotfest. And nothing else. And it's like, and especially for like people beyond a certain age. Like, I'm not too old, but I'm definitely getting to an age where I probably shouldn't be in a pit in an all-day festival. If that makes sense. But it's a hard sell for the older fans of Slipknot who are like, I don't really want to stand around in the hot sun without seating. I don't know, I don't really want to do that. I wish it would just be at, like, the Homebush Stadium or, but that one will also be at Centennial Park. I feel like we have all these great stadiums, and also they need to start building stadiums with roofs on, because Australian heat, they need to have something that they can cool down inside and also, a protection from the elements, because rain, thunderstorms can come out of nowhere in Australia. It's pretty notorious. But anyways, guys, I've talked for 20 minutes about this. I will say this to end the video on. Korn, if you ever see this one, John Davis, whoever sees this from Korn, Head, Monkey, I know Fieldy's gone from the band at the moment. I know he's on hiatus, but I don't know, it's feeling like he might be leaving the band. I mean, I don't know if Fieldy's going to come back. I might do a video on, like, I don't think Fieldy's going to come back to Korn, because they've got, is it Ra Diaz from Tendencies? Oh, I don't know if I can say that word, actually. I'll mute that bit for it, but I'll just say tendencies, that band. I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube because they get pretty picky about that. But yeah, I think it's Ra Diaz. He's been playing for 3 years with Korn. So I don't know if maybe they're setting him up to eventually take the place. I mean, they did the same thing with that, the drummer now. I don't know, the Loz, I think his name is. Pretty decent drummer. Freaking awesome. He's a powerhouse. But maybe they're setting that up. I don't know. But it would be devastating if Fieldy left Korn officially. I mean, the original lineup, I mean, look, say what you will, I mean, bands change over time, but yeah, I'm really enjoying, like, seeing what Ra Diaz is doing with, you know, bass. I think he's had some energy on stage, and it's pretty cool to see. But maybe Korn just need to go on a hiatus overall. Maybe they need to just stop touring for a couple of years, maybe 2-3 years, let it, like Kiss did. They tour, they stop touring, have a break, settle down, then, okay, let's do another tour. And even though they keep doing the end of the line tour, that's kind of their shtick. Everyone knows, okay, they're retiring for now, but they'll be back. Anyways, guys, I've went for 21 minutes talking about concerts, so yeah. And if I'm looking off, let me turn this around because I feel like that's turned a bit since I've started this video. If I look a bit off, it's because, what's it called? Okay, yep, that looks pretty cool. But yeah, what was I going to say to end this? I wanted to end this on a message to Korn. If anyone from the band sees this, please do a second loop. And I understand there may be stuff in the contract for good things, where you might not be able to play for a certain time frame. This is the pretty standard thing in the industry. You might not be able to, like, a no complete peak clauses, essentially. So Korn might have to not come to Australia for 6 months, maybe, just because, you know, good things don't want to see that as competition and don't want to say, oh, well, the fans know that's coming later. It'll set a bad precedent for, oh, Good Things has a headliner next year, but we know from history that the band will be back in 2 months or whatever. They don't want that. But Korn, I'm a big fan of you. Like, look at this. I've got the original albums, obviously. These are the original 6. I also like the 7th album, but, you know, anything, I don't know. It's kind of shaky. And this camera thing, this mount keeps falling, and it's really starting to get annoying. So I'm going to end the video, guys. But if you want to watch some more videos, I will put some videos over here. You can watch them. Go check out the second channel. I have unbolted all the WrestleOz stuff. Yeah, if I keep looking off to the side, that's what I was going to say earlier. If I keep looking off to the side, it's because I've got it on the front camera, and it's because of stuff like that. The tripod's not great at the moment. But yeah, let me know what you think. Go watch the new channel, Jamie Toomey News. Don't know what I'm going to do on there. I'm guessing entertainment news. I don't really want to report proper news. Like, I don't want to go out and say, oh, here's the housing crisis. I thought about it at first, but I was like, okay. Don't really want to do that. I might do entertainment news. Maybe that's the way to go. But we'll figure that out eventually. But I am dedicated to the news channel that I've set up. I am dedicated to Jamie Toomey News. So that will be a thing. I'm not giving up on that. It's not going to be like WrestleOz, even though WrestleOz I did double down on for a while, even though it wasn't getting views. But I have unbolted all that content. So if you were a fan of WrestleOz, it's all back up on the other channel, Jamie Toomey News. I also pulled out the one video I did for Jamie Toomey Tech that, yeah, just wasn't that good. But yeah, if you like that stuff, go and check out the other channel. And I'll put some videos here. I don't know what I'm going to put there yet, but there'll be something there, and you can watch them. Catch you in the next one. Peace.